thank you for coming back. I'm just gonna start a paragraph back from where the fire alarm cut me off. Dawn came with another murder of crows, all sitting on the branches of the pine tree that loomed over our house. They spoke to themselves, giving directions and telling each other to eat. Each took their time, each eating a different part of the body, one on each of the legs, one pecking at each of the arms, one pulling off the skin on the stomach between the body's ribs and hips, and one trying to gulp down a full eye while it was still connected to the nerves. It was unusual for one murder to stay this long, usually leaving when breakfast was ready. But the house lacked the aroma of eggs, the floorboards lacked the creaking of Mother's pacing about. Mother had returned last night, just before the sun had gone down fully. She said goodnight, and the clicking of the lights going off seeped into the room. So it was odd that the crows stayed. It was odd that there was no breakfast downstairs. It was odd that I could only find a note. Father was there when it started, the first dawn when the crows came. A boy on top of a tree, dead. There was a surprising amount of blood at the time. The boy bled like a man, yet died a child. His eyes were bloodshot, yet they lacked the light of life. His chest was impaled by a branch thicker than his arms, which lacked the time to gain any muscle. His face still holding the baby's head. Father puked at the sight. Mother puked at the smell. It was Father who pulled the body down and gave him a proper burial. No one showed. No one claimed the child as their own. Mother and Father paid their dues. Mother dropped it fast. Father couldn't process it. A month after, it happened again. There was a body, blood, and crows. They were there before the sun could bleed through the trees. Father first complained about the noise of the crows, how their screaming woke him up. Father then complained about the smell of iron seeping into our house through some open windows. Mother liked it when Father complained. She said that it means he cares. He was a caring man, but he never complained about us. So when he grew tired of the crows, tired of the bodies, tired of us, it made sense that he would leave. He was the fifth body in October, 10 months after the crows appeared. Father left us October 7th, when the wind was strong, causing a slight chill to run through the house. There was nothing different about the house. There was no note, there was nothing packed up. There were no cars missing. We only knew when we saw the front door was open. Mother had hoped he'd return one day, but we knew he couldn't. We knew he had seen enough. His bags were too heavy for his eyes, and he needed to sleep. The house was swaying with the wind, and the roof was leaking when I woke up. The crows were loud, but I watched them as they dismantled the body in an almost uniform way. I was waiting for the murder to leave, to know that breakfast was ready. I was waiting for Mother to call my name and tell me to come eat. But there was no hint of eggs, no smell of bread. I couldn't hear Mother rummaging around the kitchen, the floorboards creaking under her weight. It was dawn. The sun was peering through the trees. It was already later than I meant to wake up. Mother should have been up, and the crows should have been gone. I walked down the stairs, letting them hold my entire weight to make sure that they still made noise. I walked through the hallway, continuing with the same approach, until I arrived in the kitchen, waiting to be greeted by a fake smile. The kitchen light was still on. It was one of the lights I thought I heard click off after getting tucked in for bed. It blended in with the sunlight, and if it hadn't been raining, maybe I wouldn't have noticed. I flicked it off and walked over to the table where a piece of paper had been left. The writing was Mother's, semi-fancy but lacking the consistency to be considered neat. The note read, "Do not leave the house. Do not try to follow me. I'm sick of being your mother. I can't do it, not anymore." I felt the tears stream down my face. I stared at the page, rereading it over and over, thinking that the words were going to change if I just read it one more time. Eventually, I curled up in the middle of the kitchen, allowing my knees to meet my chest and let my chin sit on top. My body eventually fell over, allowing myself to embrace the warmth of my tears and hug my fatigue until my eyes gave up and I fell asleep. The sky was just starting to turn blue when I woke up again. I was greeted by a paper next to my face and a pain in my neck. I unfolded myself and noticed that I was in the kitchen. So I got up and left for the front door. I ignored the door squealing open and the hinges cry for oil, and went around the house to where the pine tree loomed over us. Mother now occupied the top of the tree, her chest impaled by the branch that impaled hundreds, if not thousands, before her. So I stood outside, before the crows arrived, watching the blood spill out as it dripped from leaf to leaf, basking in the silence of dawn.
Jake Price has some pretty straightforward writing advice. Write more. It's the easiest way to get better. He likes to write outside in longhand, and he prefers to write at a time when he is left alone. This creative writing major with a minor in art history is from the town of McConnellsburg, Pennsylvania. His chapbook, Annihilation and Other Recipes with Oranges, was published in spring 2024 by the small press class Patchwork Press. And his poem, Silver Rings, was featured on Susquehanna University's 2023 holiday card. Jake has a poem published recently in Philadelphia Stories, and for more work, I advise you all to visit jakepricepoetry.com. Dr. Carla Kelsey says, Jake is a fantastically talented poet. In my intermediate poetry course, he wrote a chapbook titled, Even the Butterflies Drink Blood. His titles, in fact, are themselves poems. This strikingly vivid chapbook intertwines nature and the fabricated world, creating a captivating lyric mosaic. Each poem in the book stands alone as a unique arc, yet together they create a broader narrative, exploring the edges of experience and consciousness in a way that leaves an indelible impression. Let's welcome Jake Price.
Thank you. That was really sweet. I write a lot of really short poetry, so I'm just not gonna read titles. There's like 13 different poems in here, I counted. And yeah. The finch I swallowed as a kid has grown old and gray and tired. He only flutters against my rib cage every now and chirps only when spoken to. I hope I die before his bones return to dust, and when I'm fossilized in my casket, please let our skeletons lie intertwined. I pray he's proud of who I've become. After graduating and opening up my own restaurant, and breaking down in the middle of a Saturday dinner rush because the hostess forgot to tell the servers that we only have 3 T-bone steaks left in-house, and Imogen, the server with the cucumber mint chapstick, just sent back an order for 5 T-bone steaks and a dry-aged porterhouse that was taken off the menu last week. 3 12 tops, and 2 5 tops, and 1 19 top, and 2 called-off dishwashers, 1 incompetent, and then the other stomach bug. That weekend, I'll rent a cabin in the woods near my mom's house, and sometime around then, I'm going to decide I want to become an ice sculptor. I want to be surrounded by a crowd every New Year's Eve in a city square with a chainsaw, carving Donald Trump's face onto the body of a mermaid, while a local news station covers the ball dropping. 10, 9, 8, 7, and then cuts to a close-up of my masterpiece. 6, 5, 4, 3. I want to spend all my time on anything temporary. Someone sharpened the blades of grass again, and I'm yelling at my soles for bleeding while I walk, because it's obviously their fault, and not the man with the wet stone squatted in the front lawn. My little brother kicked a hornet's nest situated inside the sycamore tree behind our house, and I got stung and blamed my skin for its swollenness. You've been draped uncomfortably over my skeleton for years. I'm just tired of waking up with my mornings disappointed in me. Cumulonimbus clouds aren't trampolines, and neither are hot air balloons or graduate schools. Sunsets are only pretty because of air pollution, and people are only beautiful when they sweat. When I'm old, I won't recognize my reflection in the mirror, and my mother is only proud of me because I'm in debt. There's a picture book about rabbits jumping in buckets of paint. I'm sorry I vomited all over your dress. Flowers don't grow between the cracks in the sidewalk because the city compacts the dirt with cement. I sweat my silhouette into my bed sheets nightly, like the moon painting her self-portrait on the pond algae. She gets upset and erases her canvas before the sun can ever set his eyes on it. Even celestial bodies become insecure. Maybe in a time when the water wasn't polluted or stagnant or loved, there would be masterpieces in every riverside and lake and puddle. Cleave the forget-me-nots from my shoelaces, and then my feet from them. I walk on dirt that isn't mine, it snags my heels and travels with me. Sunshine can't seem to shake the dust that dances in its rays. Do you think driftwood ever feels nostalgic for the time when it was still submerged, before it reached the surface and saw the sky and the stars? The Terrible Man is dancing, and it's still beautiful regardless of context or past deeds. The Terrible Man is a terrible father, but a wonderful best friend. There was a woman on the bus with frizzy hair and eye bags. I fell in love with her. She had 2 kids. We dated for 2 months. She was 7 years older than me, and she was a horrible pet owner, but an amazing mother and so sweet when she wanted to be. The Terrible Man goes on bar crawls every weekend. He's a terrible drunk, but the bartenders love him because he tips well and he doesn't flirt with the drink runners. I was surprised last night when I looked in the mirror and saw how wide my eyes are. I stuck my tongue out as far as it would reach and tried writing my name in the fog my breath created. It tasted terrible. The pigeons caught in your throat explode out of your mouth every time we accidentally see each other. They fly a few blocks away to shit on cars, so we might as well talk while we awkwardly wait for them to come back. You'll just have to swallow them again later anyways. How much money, if you had to guess, do you think you've tossed into wishing wells over the course of your life? What the fuck kind of question is that? The last time I saw you, you grabbed one of my palms and stared at it like you were trying to see my future. I see Corinthians in these calluses. You see immaturity in the coffee grounds left in my cup. There's something about you that I don't like, and I think that's why I miss you. Flower petal boy, the ring bearer, the one with the camo vest in the middle of all of these smiling people. I love you. This poem is about my uncle, and this is exactly how I want to remember him. Cover the hole you punched in the drywall with white nail polish. Wait, it's not level, you idiot. Go grab some cardboard. Mustard and mayonnaise and roadside crosses underneath a crisp northeastern sky. The clouds here have a personality to them. I'll puke all over the sidewalk beside the alleyway I grew up playing in, and I'll try chewing tobacco again after you're gone, and I'll enjoy it. Have you ever gotten tackled and the opposing team's offensive lineman smacks his chest plate against the top of your helmet, and you try not to lose consciousness for the rest of the game? I miss you. Street sign stealer, Mr. Bob Dylan song, Marlboro Man gets along with you. Matching vacant holes, identical phone calls, and gifts. There's always something congruent about deadbeat fathers. The mold growing over my face is finally starting to wash off, and the flies can see me eyeing the fridge. Keep it between the mustard and mayonnaise. I'll always look out for you. If you ever have a question, just ask. Thank you.
Weatherford Brown from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, is a creative writing and publishing and editing double major. They are a literary arts intern for the Writers Institute, co-head editor of Apprentice Writer, and our department's alumni newsletter intern. Dr. Gary Fink says, first of all, Gray is from Pittsburgh, about 7 miles from where I grew up. But we seldom spoke about that because the work Gray was doing demanded my attention. Much of the narrative takes place in rural Arkansas, nowhere that I've spent time, but it wasn't long before I was engaged and interested in the places and characters present in Gray's nonfiction. For instance, the grandfather insisting on a trip to the largest knife store in America. I followed Gray's eyes and uneasiness everywhere. examining the knives as well as the Confederate flags and other such memorabilia on sale from the throwback displays. There are challenges when writing about people you care for, and yet make you sometimes cringe, not to rush to judgment, but to patiently, with an excellent eye and ear for the precise detail that takes the reader along on a variety of routes to discovery. Gray handled them well. That was all Dr. Fink's quote. On writing, Gray says, if you can talk, if you can think, if you can observe, you can write. Instead of thinking of writing as a born gift or talent, understand writing as a creative muscle you work every day by choosing to write. Gray.
I will not disappoint. I'm talking about Arkansas tonight. This first poem is called Homecoming, and it's a high one, for those of you in the know. We were driving back home, back south, rest stops growing further and further apart, and Octavia Butler's Kindred snaking its way through the speakers, and my mother points across the dashboard at your TRD, Jeep, Ram, Ford, pickup, double wide, fuck you truck, covered in American flags and portrait photos of Donald Trump, and bald eagles mid-flight and Gadsden flags, and quotes from Leviticus I refuse to read, and worst of all, the silhouette of a gun above white curly letters, I hunt queers. My mother laughs and tells me to take a photo from the passenger seat, but I won't, because as we pass you on the left, I see your face that looks so much like my grandfather's, and your rage that screams from your eyes, and your fist choking down on the steering wheel so tight the leather bulges and wails, and I know you hate me enough to kill me. And soon I will be surrounded by yous, you and I staring back and forth at each other long enough to make me vomit. The Ozarks loom near. To you, those tall pines welcome. I only feel small. This one's called Bull Testicle Festival. You wear more clothes down south. Small town, bleary eyes, your body a pale, lumpy fruit. You're not crop top clad, eyes lined, camouflaging a gay little shag. You wear girl's skin and say God bless you to strangers. At your grandfather's church you follow on to hymns, imagining another kind of you that grew right here. Young, round, simple thing, afraid of these new growths on your chest. Everything you've learned of bodies, you learn in whispering psychic intercourse. Never out loud, never blatant, nakedness resting in church, at home, laying in your bed. Under a bridge, your friends in the dark spray paint what you think a penis looks like. There's a sign there by the bridge, the annual Bull Testicle Festival, BYOB. Except no one you know drinks. You will go, and you will chew on testicle just to touch another body. In a picture book, you'll scratch the fig leaf from Eve's hairy body and realize that you've only drilled a hole in the page. Nothing will ever fill it. And worse, no matter what, you'll never fix that awful tear of her body, the emptiness. But there's no point in writing this antithesis. Here you are, nestled in a broken cup's palm, wondering if your blue is the same as his or hers, measuring the length of your hair in minutes, while real people go on around you, living, working, dying in the same place they were born. Your mother's words echo like an empty prayer. You are good, you are smart, you are pretty. This is explaining pronouns to my grandmother. For a thing most simple that you use constantly, for a woman who is once an English teacher, she pretends that they are cosmically warping words. Humanity itself skewing meaning and reality contort, it's just too hard, uncomfortable, gay, confusing, she says. I am not defining God, nor mimesis, nor quantum entanglement, concurrent forces that operate regardless of her understanding. I am merely asking that we all take time to learn a person before labeling them by their body. But here's the truth. Without her consent, gravity still pulls. Black holes consume worlds, bodies grow and double and die, and the names we call these husks we're in mean nothing. Just swim away. You're dead now, and so I replay you so often your reels become variegated, holes burnt into my memory. I'd like to think you'd love me, as crappie and bass, that boat, chartreuse bait balls, your wife, no matter how mean she turned. Love me as you loved America after Vietnam, that pomegranate tree out front which bore no fruit, decoy ducks bobbing in the pond. From childhood, I've known the shape I'm supposed to fill, the mirroring of my face to my mother's, to her mother's, and even as a child, I knew. I'm a fish who cannot stop being a fish, fed fat on baited worms and stuck with a silver fish hook wriggling. But you're dead now, and so no one's left to slide that metal out of my cheek. I can feel it, stuck in my flesh now, I feel it. This is Country Tryst. There, some winsome willow in the yard, limbs tumbling like your limbs. Wind dancer, locks twist, spiral ribbon, soft flesh pink. You are a brilliant coquelicot butterfly. A red smear steaming in Ozark heat, wild strawberry in the grass, mimosa tree. I watch the blood churn in your veins, your chest freckled, breasts white in the sun, hear the distant shriek of a day-walking bobcat. And we are desperately, ragefully in love. The sky turns storm green, pines howl, wind swallows the sound of your name. In this place that's supposed to be home. In the in-betweens, mountain mist, the unsaid glamour of ranch houses and rust-crusted chain link. Our rage becomes a tender whisper, a wild blackberry, sun-warmed to jam, thorn bite, hands bloodied. It was worth it. We are worth it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And before we have a final round of applause, just a moment of housekeeping or of information giving. On the table back there, there are bookmarks of our 6 seniors, and we'd love to have everybody here find their way back and get a bookmark to take as a memento. And we also are really grateful to have this figurative art show, which was it was just installed on Saturday night, or the reception was on Saturday night, so we're really grateful to the workers here who opened up the art gallery for us. And I'm gonna now pull this podium back and ask our 6th readers to come up for one more round of applause and some photos. So I'm gonna do that, and as they get up here, people can take photos. I just ask everyone to sort of stay sitting for the moment, other than our 6 readers. We can have a moment to do that. So let's give them one more round of applause.